What do we have here? Do we have a package from Chris Kizer? I wonder what kind of knife it would be from a guy named Chris Kizer. Maybe it's a Kizer. I don't have a Kizer handy to open it with, but we'll use this Kubi. They start with the same letter, Kizer, Kubi. So they're kind of similar. And then we got my new sticker here. It came with some knives from a buddy, online guy who's like a good dude. And that's my new Jack Nicholson. We're going to maybe find some other... So if you got any cool face type stickers you want to send me, I'll put them on here in place of these skulls. Just something to do. I think it'd be cool. All right, let's get this thing open and see what we got. I bet it's a cool Kizer. Let's see. Lots of good padding in here. Well done. Number one. I don't know. Maybe he skipped a couple of things and needed to identify which one was which. Okay. Got a nice box to recycle. It's the fancy Kizer box, so it must be a nice Kizer. Let's find out what it is.
This episode sponsored by the
Iowa Knife Museum.
So many CRKs, you'll piss your pants.
It's the Kizer Genesis. I've definitely never handled this before, or I don't even think I've ever seen one in person. I've seen them online, but I don't think I've seen them in person or held one before. Not sure what size it is or any of that. Got the little packet that comes with every nice Kizer. I don't even know what's in here. I don't know if I've ever opened them. I probably did like my first one I ever got or something. So it's got lots of stuff in Chinese, and it's a cool thing. I don't really know what you do with that. And then there's something else in here. What is that? Okay, just an empty thing. I don't know, man. Is what you get when you buy a Kizer that comes in this pretty case, though. Whatever this thing is, that's what you get. Oh, I can't get it back in there. Interesting. It doesn't really want to fit. Okay, there we go. All right, and then here is a knife. Now, I feel like it probably came with a little Kizer case. No? Maybe it didn't. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to come with a case. But, and also, geez, I got so many cases that I don't really need another case. Let's see what the Genesis is. Okay. Maybe it's a little bigger than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a smaller knife, and it looks like it's a full size, I think. Oop, almost dropped it. Let's see. This is a Kubi Nova. Boy, they are close. I would say the Kizer's a little smaller, but the Kubi Nova is actually a little bigger than like your average 3.5. I think it's like a 3.7, maybe? Something like that. So the Genesis, oh, a little hard to flip. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice flip. Wow, that's a good detent, man. I would say the flipper tab could be a hair more grippy. It's just a little slippery right there in the end. They didn't put jimping all the way to the end. They put it here. So if you go light switch it, it's great. Let's see, push button. It's a little slippery if you try to push it down. But, man, that's nice. The blade shape is really nice, too. What if I cut off that part so your finger was only on the jimping? Then this little part would be a little smaller too. Well, I don't know if I'll do that because it's really neat. I don't know if I want to mess with it. Look at that. I think it's G10. You know what? I'm not sure if it's carbon fiber or G10. I think maybe... I don't actually know what this is. That's interesting. I don't know what this material is. I think maybe G10. I'm not sure, but it's really pretty. Those cuts in it are just really neat. Pretty plain on the other side. Pocket clip is strange. It's stubby. Don't know why they would do that. Let's see. Does it work as a pocket clip? It's a little hard to get into the pocket. It comes out fairly easy, but it's a little hard to get in. I think I would probably undercut that a little bit at a little bit of an angle so that it can go into your pocket easier. It's a little not great. Let's see. Boy, putting a little quick stud on here or an actual thumb stud would be nice. Boy, that is snappy action. You got to press pretty hard on this guy. I don't think I have my fingers on the lock bar, so I'm not making it harder. Well, let's see. Did I make it harder? Yeah, I might have. When you put your fingers on the lock bar, it's definitely a little harder. Fingers off the lock bar, a little easier. Not drop shutty, but nice, very smooth. shake shutty for sure. Yeah, I like it. I think it's very nice. It feels very well made. All the edges are chamfered nicely. No sharp edges. Ergos are really, really good. The clip feels great, even though it's not the best for going into a pocket. Let's see, is it drop shutty? Or is the bearing sort of drop shutty, even without the lock bar on it? I would say it's close. Yeah, it's definitely not super, super wiggly. Shoot, I had the wrong tip on there. I was going to loosen it just a hair to see if maybe it was over tightened. Oh, what do you guys got? Okay, there we go. I guess it's a... I'm not sure if it's a captured pivot or not. Okay, that's too loose. I think you have to have a tool on both sides if it starts to spin, which is sad. Should not do that, Kizer. This is, you know, what is this, S35? Yeah, it's an S35 titanium knife. We shouldn't be having to have a tool on both sides. D-shaped pivot, something like that. Come on, guys. Let's see. Is it more drop shutty when it's totally loose? No. So this lock bar is slowing down the blade enough to where it's not drop shutty regardless. You can take the pivot and loosen it up a lot, and it doesn't matter. It's still going to not be drop shutty because, probably because that lock bar is pressing in on the blade enough to where it slows it down as it's coming down. And then the only other trick would be to put a drop of oil on that detent track and see if it's a kind of a friction problem instead of a pressure problem. Okay, so we got that pretty good. Boy, even a hole right there would be nice. Little like a Spidey hole right there. That'd be sweet. Ooh, I know a guy who does Spidey holes. I don't have the equipment yet to do that stuff. So I might have to send this in to get a little hole put in there. Boy, that's going to cut right into a little Genesis logo, though. Let's see. If we put it here... Yeah, I don't know. Definitely a little slippery on the end of that flipper, but man, listen to that sound. That thing sounds great. What a great sound. Kizer Genesis. That's a nice finish. I think it's... I don't even know. I think it's bead blasted, maybe, not sand blasted. That doesn't look like the kind of finish that's going to snail trail super easy. I like it a lot. I think it's really nice. Very grippy with these kind of dimensional, I don't know what the right word is, milled, this milled insert here. It makes it really grippy, but not, there's no sharp edges on it. It's really just really nice. Maybe I'll just keep it a flipper. I don't have a lot of just flipper knives. I usually end up putting a thumb stud on them or something like this Scooby. So this Scooby used to be just flipper only. Then we just cut a hole in here and put a thumb stud on it. So now it has a thumb stud, so you can do thumb stud stuff. But man, this is a really nice flipper. I don't think they make them anymore. I think it's a discontinued model. So you probably have to find it on eBay or like on one of the knife pages or something on Facebook or wherever else you buy secondhand stuff. Okay, it's still a little loose. Thought I had tightened it up. Or it's coming loose. Sometimes that happens. You got to put some Loctite to keep it from coming loose. I'm pressing my finger on this side, and that seems like it's being enough so that I can tighten from this side. Okay, yeah, no play now. And the blade is back centered. The reason I knew it wasn't tight enough was because the blade was uncentered. And when I pulled it out of the box, I noticed that it was centered, so I figured the pivot must be loose because it was pushing towards that show side. What happens is, if your pivot's a little bit loose, well, let's say your knife is well centered when it's tightened perfectly right. When the pivot becomes loose, the lock bar is pressing in on the blade. You know, that's what it does. See? bing, it's pressing in this way, right? So the whole time it's always pressing in that way, even when the blade is closed. So when it's pressing in that way, it pushes the blade over that way. So usually when you have a loose pivot, your blade pushes over toward the show side like that. So that's kind of what you look for. So if your blade is centered, then one day it's not quite centered. Check your pivot. It's probably a little loose. Anyway, Kizer Genesis, S35, titanium, and I think carbon fiber, but I'm not sure. It looks like carbon fiber. Really nice, though. I like it a lot. I keep slipping off that stupid thing, though. Yeah, man, if I took that and cut the whole little rounded end right off, then I'd just be only on the jimping and not sliding off of that last little unjimped part there. We'll see. Or I'll just leave it alone because it's really, really nice. Kizer Genesis. Have a nice day.